What is going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream episode of Fourth People Podcast. And of course, as always, I am your humble host, Niko House. Today, we have a very exciting show for you. I am live once again on this fine Wednesday with my man, Kyle. How are you doing, bro?
I'm doing fantastic, Nico. It's always good to be back with you. We had a couple days here in Pennsylvania of like 70-degree weather, so I'm happy as could be.
That's basically like an inferno for y'all, man. I see you out here with the tank top on and everything, celebrating. Like to hear it.
It's going to be snow again probably within a few days, so
What?
I'm going to soak it all up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
supposed
once
to be back
again,
down in the 30s.
every day I receive new confirmation that moving to Brazil was the right decision. Yep, every single day. We are live right now on X. We are live on YouTube, obviously. And by popular demand, we're actually live on both Facebook and Instagram today. So everybody's going to be able to see us, and we're going to be discussing some very important topics today. It's going to be a great show. I can't promise you that the insanity has toned down. No, actually, no, I can do that. I can promise you that it's gotten worse, actually, since the last time that we've talked. I don't know how they managed to top themselves, how the Trump administration and his sycophants managed to top themselves every single week. But they're on an epic run of idiocracy. It's crazy how bad it's gotten. Me and Kyle were just laughing about it before we got on. I mean, for example, we're going to start off with the first story of the day, which is that somehow, some way, Erika Kirk has been put on the board of the Air Force Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was done in a way that was really suspect. But I guess when you consider who we're talking about and who has the power to put him on the board, or put her on the board rather, it shouldn't be all that surprising. So there is, let me show you this article. There is Air Force Academy board, for those of you who don't know. Mm-hmm. And Trump quietly adds Erika Kirk to that advisory board. Yeah. What are her qualifications? Well, let's find out. Don't hold your breath, though. President Donald Trump has appointed Erika Kirk, the widow of the conservative activist Charlie Kirk, to replace her husband's seat on the Air Force Academy Board of Board of Visitors. Erika Kirk, 37 years old, is among the 6 appointees directly selected by the president who to sit on the 16-person advisory board. The Board of Visitors is tasked with considering curriculum and instruction of the academy, recommending disciplinary action, and preparing semi-annual reports. Her appointment, which appears to have occurred over the weekend, means that she will replace her late husband, who Trump initially tapped to serve on the board in March 2025. Neither Kirk has formal military training or experience. Kyle, bro. Want to square that circle for me?
I saw this and I was trying to figure out like what's the angle here, and then like even if it was her husband, like what's the angle? Like why are they on the board for? That's the Air Force Advisory, right?
Air Force Advisory. Yeah.
What do they have to do with anything? I mean, I know that they're real good at throwing these giant sparkler shows and make everything look awesome. So I know that's part of like the Air Force. You know, I'm sure when you were a kid, your parents or somebody probably took you to go see the planes break through the sound barrier and stuff like that. Oh,
for sure.
But like, if that's your qualification to get on the board, is that you can make these big explosions and celebrations around a conservative organization, then like, okay, but like I don't see how that helps out the Air Force any.
It's bizarre because Erika has 0 military experience. And once again, this is the second position she's just fallen into after her husband dies, replacing her husband.
Right.
First of all, Charlie wasn't qualified for this position, to be clear. But Erika could possibly be less qualified because Erika has never actually ran an organization like this. Like what Charlie did with TPUSA, like he ran that organization, which means like disciplinary things, finance, rules, regulations, things like that. I could see him maybe that's where he could be somewhat qualified, but you know, it's the military. Right. So that's a whole different conversation. Especially when we're talking about getting into the disciplinary aspect of the military, which is basically, by the way, you're guilty until proven innocent. and your punishment is going to far exceed what you actually did. So just to be clear on that. But I feel like personally, this is once again trying to set up Erika for her political future. They're trying to make her qualify and grow her resume now. And it's weird. They just keep making it weird. And Candace Owens, by the way, Kyle, actually said on her show that they had to cancel a bunch of events this last week for Erika with Trump because they were getting so much backlash. And so he just quietly appoints her to this position over the weekend.
I haven't followed up with her series since the last episode we did. So I watched the first one, but I haven't resumed with the rest of them. But it does seem like, tell me if you think I'm onto something here, but like they're almost casting out a bunch of stones here to see which one's going to like go the best. Like, okay, so JD Vance is obviously, suspect for 2028. Yeah, they keep floating out Marco Rubio, which like that might get me to leave this country if we have Marco Rubio as the fucking president. And then now, we're appointing Erika Kirk to all of these positions, and people were saying that Charlie Kirk had presidential ambitions, and it's clear that Erika Kirk is basically trying to just assume every role that he had. So it's like, okay, how many people are you going to throw out there for 2028? But it's almost like they want to control every single one. Like, okay, well, Vance is obviously going to be controlled. Rubio, that's not even a question.
Who wants to control him, Kyle? Who do you think? Who wants to control every single one?
Yeah,
I don't want anybody to think you're anti-Samantha, but right,
exactly. Yeah, who is they though?
Those people that just made her organization worth $500 million the moment the founder of the organization died, and they secured a Zionist to replace them. You mean those people? Oh, that's not what you mean, Kyle.
Yeah, they don't have any kind of devious plans.
We don't make generalizations like that on this show, unless they're true. So I want to show you really quick, man, the list of people, like just a general list. There's like 16 people in total, but I want you just to hear the qualifications of the average person that's appointed. So Senator Tommy Tuberville represents Maxwell Air Force Base, home of Air University, and a host of their Air Force educational institutes. He's also shown a keen interest in Space Force issues as the service ties to Alabama through Redstone Arsenal Base. Doug Nicolai is a retired Air Force colonel and an F-16 pilot who now works as a subject matter expert and a simulator instructor for an aviation training company. He also has given speeches to several Christian groups. That's kind of totally irrelevant. All right. But Dan Clark, you there? Oh. Fell out there a second, but we got you back. Yeah. Dan Clark is a motivational speaker with ties to the Air Force dating back decades. He has served on He has served on the service's National Civic Leaders Board, giving speeches to airmen deployed in the Middle East, and even took a course at Air University. Charlie Kirk, founder attorney for USA and a conservative nonprofit. Focuses on student issues. Yeah. Dina Powell served as Deputy National Secretary Advisor for Strategy during Trump's first term. So that's a list of Trump's direct appointees.
A motivational speaker is one of them. Are we going to put Tony Robbins in there as well or something?
Yeah. But to be fair, at least like this person, so one of the requirements is that there has to be someone who actually took classes at the board or at that school.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So even that person is more qualified than Erika or Charlie.
Yeah.
So and that's just like the people that Trump appointed. Now the board is obviously a little bit more intricate than that, and they have people who are much more qualified. But you Air Force colonel, F-16 pilot, like people giving lectures, and it's like Erika Kirk, who can't even get her life story straight for more than one interview. Like, what are we doing? What are we preparing her for? And should we be terrified? I guess the answer to that last one is probably, I guess. It's weird. And it once again, it keeps getting weirder. And I'm not gonna pretend like it's not weird. And I think that the rest of the world, honestly, is kind of over this charade of the poor widow situation, because she's used that and she's used it up to the point where the majority of sane people don't have any more sympathy for her, because you keep gaining opportunity after opportunity after opportunity that isn't deserved simply because of who you were married to when he died, not even for when he was alive.
she was largely unknown to the public until she pretty much, until she all of a sudden landed all these sweet positions as soon as her husband was killed. It's and that's why I said, like, real early on, I want to say it might have been a day or two after Charlie was killed. I'm like, if there's a motive here, then she's prime suspect.
Yeah,
And nobody's going to question it, because if you do, you're an asshole. Well, call me an asshole then.
bro. It's like some shit out of a net. Like there's going to be a Netflix documentary about her and Charlie and how this whole it's coming, bro. It's probably gonna be when our kids are adults. But boy, I'ma be tuned in, and they better give me some credit. I better see some damn, because I'm still salty. I'm still salty at Candace, man. I appreciate her finally talking about it, but she's used everybody's quotes and stuff like that to talk about the news that was broken about Erika, and she just left your boy out. I sent you the email, Candace. I was the one who told you. Everybody was like, man, they tagged you and everything, but you ain't want to hear me. That's just wild, man. I'm gonna let it slide though. I'm not gonna be petty today. I want to switch gears really quick to something that's affecting everybody right now, principally probably Donald Trump. So there has been a new supreme leader, a new Ayatollah selected. And I want everybody to keep in mind what me and Kyle have been saying for the last couple of weeks since they killed the original Ayatollah. Well, not the original, but at least the last Ayatollah. His name? Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of Ayatollah, killed in the U.S.-Israeli airstrikes. Yep, the son of Ayatollah Khamenei. And he's named the new supreme leader. A statement from the Assembly of Experts, the panel of the Shia clerics responsible under Iranian law for choosing the country's top leaders, said Mojtaba Khamenei had been selected as the third leader of the Islamic Republic, according to the reports from the IRIB, State TV, the Fars, Tasnim, and ISNA news agencies. Mojtaba Khamenei, 56, the second son of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is widely viewed as a hardline figure with close ties to the powerful Revolutionary Guard. Israel has already described him as a potential target, while President Donald Trump has called him unacceptable. What do we say, Kyle? Whenever they killed OG Khamenei, what do we say?
You don't know what's going to happen next, and more than likely, the next person you put in there probably ain't going to be willing to negotiate as much as Ayatollah Khamenei, the original senior, I guess, would be. And look, here we are. The man, you killed his wife. I think you killed his kids. You killed his father.
His infant daughter.
Yeah. Look, Niko, you're a father much like me. If you killed my daughter that's sitting downstairs right now, there are untold horrors I would unleash on the world without asking a question.
And I don't even have an IRGC at my disposal.
Nope.
Nope,
me neither.
So imagine he has a country full of pit. Think about this, man. First of all, one of the things that separates him and his father, right? They refer to him as a hardliner, but they're not really being all that specific. Yeah. It's because he actually has ties to I believe it's called the Dasij. Basically, it's the people's militia, effectively. Yeah. He's intricately involved with them. And he's been with them for like 20 years. And he basically is always about that action. Khamenei, Ali Khamenei, was like, okay, let's be rational. Let's be peaceful. Let's try to engage in good faith. This is not that Khamenei. I need to be very clear about that. This man, one of the problems that some people had with him, Kyle, was that he isn't as religious as his dad was. And he is simultaneously a hardliner.
Right.
So what does that mean in practice, people? It means all that we're going to give you a warning before we let these shots ring off. That shit's out the window.
Yep.
The possibility of this war ending anytime soon is completely out the window. Because I'm not saying he has nothing to live for at all, because I'm sure he wants to help his people. But you killed my kids, my wife, my dad, my older brother, because he's the middle child. He's not even the junior. He's the middle child. So like, you killed everybody that I love. And you keep bombing the shit out of my people. Yeah, it's over for y'all.
Yeah.
And the IRGC moves, they love him. So yeah, like I said, y'all killed the nice guy, and this is what you get. You get the y'all killed the peacetime Ayatollah, and now you get the wartime Ayatollah.
Right. Now, remember one of the things that the Hawks always cite, and it's so tired. They chant "Death to America." Well, yeah. Why are they? Do you think that's going to stop now? You just killed their religious leader once again. Like we said, I think it was last week. This is like killing the Pope. Okay, so
Yep.
you kill the Pope. If you kill the Pope, I think a lot of Americans would probably chant "Death to Iran" or "Death to whoever" once they kill
Oh
them.
man, and that's after they gonna go get whoever killed him. Somebody's gonna
Exactly.
get put on the stake
Yeah.
immediately.
Right. There's going to be some doors get knocked down. So
Yeah.
you killed this man's family, and now he's put in charge. He's 56 years old. So, like in political age, at least
Young.
nowadays, that's pretty young. Like you still have for him 30, maybe even 40 years, if he's lucky, to live out his life. Do you think he's going to forget this? Do you think that he's just going to be like, oh, well, you know what? We're just going to talk this one out. I guarantee you that he'd probably talk after, he definitely gave the U.S. some black eyes. But as far as I've seen, everything I've seen, Iran has no desire to talk. Trump is saying we've won and that things are going well and that, we want an off ramp. I saw his advisors were saying they're looking for an off ramp. You're not going to get it now. You had your chance. You had your chance even before you started this. When you were to send Marco Rubio over there last Monday, you still had a chance. You still could have worked things out. But no, instead, you decide you want to start bombing shit. Well, yeah.
If I gotta say, I don't know if he could have worked it out, and the reason why is because if this was always the number one choice for the nomination, it's probably out of like 2 or 3 people. But like if this was the clear victor and everybody, there was never any. It wasn't going to end. Like that was it. I mean, the generals have been pretty clear about it. The foreign secretary is pretty clear about it. The defense secretary or defense minister rather has been clear about. All these people have been like, nah, we want to end y'all. We want to make sure y'all never attack us again. And then to top all of that off, from all the comments we've heard over the last week, the guy who will be the final nail in the coffin, the final decision maker, the guy who stamps the paperwork, is the son of the man you just killed, bruh. Dog. That's like that is the nightmare. So honestly, it damn near might be a nightmare scenario for everybody. And I'm not saying it because I want them to be able to topple Iran. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it is a guarantee now. This shit isn't over until it's over. Right. It ain't gonna be 10 rounds and KO or TKO. Ain't gonna be a scorecard held up. No, it's gonna be somebody teeth knocked out and somebody on the ground. And even though Iran might win, there is going to be a lot of suffering that comes from it because of this war that the United States and Israel started.
Right.
That's the real issue.
Nobody was up against the wall before this happened either. Like there was still room for negotiations. But I seen somebody that I sort of like, but he was saying, oh, Iran should have negotiated. They gave them nothing to negotiate with. Basically, I think you and I covered this.
They shouldn't negotiate or didn't negotiate.
He said that Iran should have continued to negotiate, but they were telling them basically, hey, you got to cooperate with us and we won't bomb you. That's not how that works. You need to offer something to them to get them to lower their enrichment or limit their ballistics, which they weren't going to do. But you had to give them something. You can't just tell them, hey, we're going to maintain the status quo, but we need you to give us more. That's not how negotiations work. And the people that thought Steve Witkoff and Rubio and all these people and Jared Kushner were all these genius negotiators, it's clear they weren't, because if they were, we wouldn't be in this situation. This is completely a choice. This is a war of choice. This is a war of aggression that should have never happened. But because, of course, the White House is basically controlled by Israel, here we are.
Ain't no basically about it. Low, baby Jesus. And let me. So I want to play really quick, just a little bit of Trump's response to Ayatollah Khamenei being selected. I'm telling you, boy. I'm just saying. You can hear the little bit of fear in his voice, man. A little bit of fear there. We ain't gonna watch all of it. We're gonna watch some of it.
It's not up on my screen if you have it up.
Because they cheat. They want to cheat. So we added those 2 points. we're going to the goal. We're going to fight like hell. Now, certain things will happen, certain things will take place. I'm here to do a great job for the country. But we're going to have elections that are so corrupt, so dishonest. Like,
Yeah, I mean, y'all both guilty of that. So,
few, I mean, virtually nobody, nobody the system.
Activated any sleeper cells inside the U.S. Reports they have pressed that trigger button to activate those cells.
The apparatus that looks into that. Schumer and the Democrats have shut it down. Which shuts it, they probably hate our country a lot, but the Democrats opened that up. But we've got very, very good.
you mean the FBI? The FBI is closed, Kyle? Like what? We got to open up. Hey, man, they put the close sign up, man. They said they closed for shop. Shake machine isn't working today. Like, boy.
A lot of them came in during the Biden open border period, but we have them under. We've got.
Okay, so that's not just me.
We're watching every single one of them. Yeah.
Hold up. What? So yeah, it's one of the parts I wanted to. And we're going to talk about one of these alleged attacks that might be happening a little bit later on in the show, but
A false flag.
yeah, definitely a false flag they're planning, like I predicted. But bro, did he just say we're watching all of them, so you know who the sleeper cells are now, or and you're going to let them just run about, or what's going on?
What's the plan?
What the? So they aren't sleeper cells; they're employees, and you're their employer. Basically, is what's happening. That's what you're telling us. But all
If
right.
you know where they're at and you're not doing anything about it, then either you're complicit or they're on your payroll.
Yeah. Did he not just Schumer and the Democrats, they let them in. We don't know where they're at. They shut down a department that allows us to monitor them, but we know who they are. We know exactly where they're at, actually. The Biden era, bro. He's in his Biden era.
His Biden arc. It might not just be for me. I think a few other people aren't seeing the video. I can hear the audio
They're not?
faintly. Yeah, I can hear the audio faintly, but I don't see the video.
Oh, hold up. I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. I stopped sharing. My bad.
Yeah, I caught some of it.
You know, a lot of problem we have.
There we go.
The biggest problem we have is the Democrat shutdown. We know a lot about them, but the shutdown doesn't allow us to do what we have to do.
Do you have to take him out? Does he have a target on his back?
You mean the new supreme leader? You mean the son?
How can there be an Iran?
Well,
with
I don't want to.
Ayatollah?
I don't want to say that, but you know, I was disappointed because we think it's going to lead to just more of the same problem for the country. So I was disappointed to see their choice.
Hold on, this is exactly what you and I were saying probably 6 months ago. Like, oh, when you did the 12-day war, you kicked the can down the road. When you bomb the shit out of their country and you kill the leader, you're kicking the can down the road again, because guess what? You're getting another Ayatollah Khamenei. I got to give Trump credit where it's due, though. It took George Bush, and everybody else 20 years to replace the Taliban with the Taliban. At least, we replaced Khamenei with Khamenei in 9 days. But once again,
I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, so, okay, this gets us back literally to square one right after the 12-day war was all quote unquote done, right? What are you going to do now? Are you going to continue to bomb the country? Or are you going to have to decide if you want to negotiate? Chances are you're going to have to you can't negotiate anymore because they don't want to talk to you. Iran rejected talks because you just bombed another school. You killed 170 people, women and children, on a double tap strike, and then accused them of doing it. So why would they assume? And then once again, every time they negotiate with the US, they get bombed. So like, why would you trust anybody coming out of the United States? And like, do you think Russia or China is sitting there watching this and thinking, we can negotiate with these guys in good faith? No, they're probably like, oh yeah, you know what? Trump, you can come over here. You could sit. We can talk. We could be friends. But we don't trust you with a fucking thing,
bro. I don't even know if you noticed, but Russia and China haven't even suggested an intervention where they're the mediators and try to negotiate. They're like, yeah, man, nah, the U.S. and Israel fucking up. Well, y'all gonna do something about it? We're gonna keep sending Iran weapons. That's what the hell we're gonna keep on doing. We're gonna sit back and let the U.S. destroy itself. Russia and trying to earn I know they're not naive, right? Even though Trump doesn't like to get involved militarily anyway, but they're not naive. They understand how Israel works. Like, you want to talk about sleeper cells? I'm sure Russia has hundreds of Israeli sleeper cells that would be ready to commit a terrorist attack in a moment. You saw what happened with Ukraine, right? Like, Russia never had terrorist attacks. They start a war with Ukraine. All of a sudden, they have several, right? So imagine pissing off Israel in that way. Like, I know that's a largely why Putin won't engage in direct conflict with Israel. He's shrewd. I get that. But there's also like the reality that his people will be in actual danger. Hell, his family might be in actual danger. But they're like, yeah, we're not getting involved in this. Like, in a sense of, we're not mediating shit. Why would we be just useful idiots and assets for the United States and Israel while y'all pretend to engage in another negotiation that you don't intend to engage in good faith? And just for you to replenish your weapons and attack them again. That's why Russia won't allow Ukraine to have a ceasefire period. They're not stupid. They're like, nah, why would we do that? You're just going to replenish your weapons, get NATO to help you, give you more money, refill your ranks, and start doing dumb shit again. So why would we tell Iran, who's dealing with that right now? We just witnessed what would happen, right? We literally just witnessed exactly what would happen if there's a ceasefire in Russia and Ukraine. So why would Russia then turn around and tell Iran, hey man, what about ceasefire while we engage in peace talks? No. But yeah, if he's like, oh, we're disappointed. I know you said he's kicking the can down the road, and he did kick the can down the road last year. And now, in my opinion, he kicked the goddamn hornet's nest. In his
that's probably more appropriate.
He kicked it, it broke, and now he's getting the shit beat out of him. Like, that's basically what's happening right now.
Thank you, sir. You've said you have someone in mind to be the new Iranian leadership, if not the Ayatollah's son. What are you looking for in that person? Are you looking at someone internal, given that you just said that their leadership has been decimated?
I like the
and
idea
wiped
of internal and eternal, come to think of it. But I like the idea of internal.
What? Did he basically just say he wants a dictator there?
He said internal and eternal. So who are you, like, who are you going to get to do that? Like, because allegedly he killed all the people that are like there. So what are you going to do? Like, what's the plan? Even Steve Witkoff said, we have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ask how this is, how this wraps up. I don't know. Trump's the wrong person to mess with.
Are you referring to the fact that Trump actually had people in mind that he was willing to negotiate with, and the United States accidentally killed them? Is that other people? Yeah, no, that actually happened.
Yeah. That's good, because he said he said something like, "Oh, we had some people in mind, and then they found out that, oh yeah, we killed them, and then we had another set of people in mind. Yeah, well, we killed them too." So like, I'm trying to figure out the plan here, because they're saying one thing. Pete Hegg said, or Trump says, "Oh, we didn't bomb the school. It looked like Iran bombed their own school," and then the Pentagon came out and said, "Yeah, we don't know." So like, there's no cohesion here. Like, what are we doing
with the what was it that the school got bombed with? Not a Patriot,
a Tomahawk.
Tomahawk, yeah. And then they were like, the reporter asked, "Are you suggesting that Iran got their hands on a Tomahawk missile?" Because it's not just crazy that they got their hands on one completely intact, but that would also mean they got their hands on the launch system for the Tomahawk missile. Because you can't just have a fucking missile and it's just like, boop, boop.
And then on top of that, someone would have had to have intelligence on how to operate that stuff too.
Yeah.
So like, there's like there's a huge territory of unexplored like questions right there. Like, okay, if they had a Tomahawk, who figured out how to shoot it? Where'd they get it from? And what did they have to launch it with? Because this is a U.S. system. So as far as I know, basically like U.S. allies should have it. Or either that, like, I think it's mostly like Ukraine that uses the Tomahawks, Ukraine and Israel. So did one of them give it to Iran?
Well,
nobody knows.
I think Ukraine, I'm not even sure Israel uses them like that, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm not even, because I think that was like the biggest thing. They were like, people were assuming that maybe it was Israel, and they said no, they know it's the U.S. because it's a Tomahawk. So if it wasn't a Tomahawk, maybe it would be left up to the imagination, but no. It's like, no, this is definitely y'all. or you're saying that Iran got their hands on something they should never have their hands on. So are you lying, or do we have a problem? Because that would mean that damn sure wasn't the only one that they had. And that would be strange if they just like, man, the one we had, we just accidentally launched out our own school full of girls. Like, what? That's dumb.
And there have been claims that it was a double tap as well. So they would double tap
like-
their own school with a Tomahawk missile.
Yeah, and the original claim was what? That it was a mislaunch.
Yes.
You
The same
mislaunched
thing they
twice in
said-
the same location.
Do you remember? Yeah, exactly. So there's like that blunder with, the friendly fire in Kuwait. This whole situation here where they claimed that, they misfired their own missile. And remember, they also claimed this once about the hospital bombing in Gaza. I want to say this was mid 2024. Do you remember
They
that?
said it was a misfire. Yep.
Yeah. Now, I don't know whatever came of that. I highly doubt it was a Palestinian rocket that blew up their own hospital.
It wasn't.
It was probably Israel because they do this. That's something they do quite frequently.
Yeah, they're doing it right now in Iran. Like they're targeting hospitals and schools and like everything except for actual military facilities. It looks like.
Yep.
Because you can't get to them. So there's that.
Colonel, because it works well. I mean, I think we've proven that so far in Venezuela. We have a woman, Delcy, who has been, president of the country, very respected, she's doing a great job. And it's, no disruption. We had, as you remember, Iraq, where
That's weird that he said Delcy Rodriguez is doing a good job and he is constantly threatening her.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he has to say that because Delcy was their choice. They were like, we think we can work with her. And I know I hate to say it so flippantly, but I'm pretty sure they just was like, man, that's a woman. We can definitely manipulate her. And it just has not really gone exactly the way they thought it was going to go, because even the barrels of oil, they keep bragging about that $80 million worth of oil. And it was like, but y'all paid for that. What are you talking about? It's 2 days worth of oil and y'all paid for it.
Right.
You didn't steal anything, right? They might have control of the oil flows for the time being, but Delcy Rodriguez actually is well respected, not just within Venezuela, but internationally. And people don't understand why. It's because she's actually a strategic genius, especially when it comes to economics. And she knows, economically speaking, this war with Iran, she was probably anticipating it. They all BRICS countries and their allies, even though Venezuela didn't get invited, they share intel. So imagine, she was like, yeah, y'all motherfuckers can't keep this Navy here forever. Y'all can't fight us and them. And the moment y'all finally commit 100% to Iran, she probably gonna get them motherfuckers a boot. That's probably what's gonna happen. So it's weird. It's kind of interesting to me that he goes, well, we're disappointed, right? Because that's disappointed. That's a strange. You just got to call his dad the evil, most dictatorial madman on the planet. Call him every name except for God's child. And now with his son, you're like, oh, we're disappointed. Why are you stepping back on the rhetoric?
They have a dartboard of Ali Khamenei in the White House. I don't know. You didn't see that? Yeah, they literally do. They had a dartboard of him, and I'm like, you guys, this is so childish. You blew up. You made the dude a martyr, and now like I said, what did you think was going to happen? Unless you commit the boots on the ground and occupying the country, you're not going to change the regime. And once again, that would assume that you could just do that in Iran. You can't. You could try, but you can't. And unless you're willing to lose hundreds of thousands of troops, because once again, we're talking a country of 90 million people and a country that's been around significantly longer than all the countries in the region. They're the regional hegemon. Do you really think you're going to be able to take them out?
So do you know Iran, Persia?
Yeah.
I believe at one point, at least according to the history books that I'm aware of, actually controlled 45% of the world's population at one point. It was the most dominant empire in history. It expanded from what was the name? I can't remember, but it was from it starts with a D, and then Cersei. But basically, bro, they were running everything. And then later on, and they still, Persia was still massive. And then like later on, it was really just them and the Ottomans. The Ottomans were able to absorb all the Middle East, and yet and still, they still had to deal with Persia. That's why Iranians still speak Farsi and not Arabic like the majority of the rest of the Middle East, because that is how real. Even whenever Europe went to the area that we consider the Middle East, the Ottoman Empire, and they learned how to use muskets and things like that, they had the leg up on the Persian Empire temporarily, but even the Persians adjusted to that. And like they're still here. The rest of the Ottoman Empire is broken up now, guys. And Iran's still here.
Yeah.
Like this is who we are dealing with, people. And they are just in the cut. That we were told, Kyle, how many times that the Navy's been destroyed, the Air Force has been destroyed, the Army's basically obliterated. Let me see if I'm gonna find a clip that you sent me, bro.
Yeah,
this man Trump,
they kept saying that, but then all of a sudden, like, oh no, they actually still have small boats. They're still carrying out strikes. So, what exactly did you destroy? And on top of that, even if you did destroy the Air Force and Navy, what's the proof that actually gets you what you're asking for?
Yeah, there's that too, right? Hold on, let me.
Is that a great name? Well, it's only good if you win. You can only do. And we've won. Let me tell you, we've won. You never like to say too early you won. We won. We won the bet. In the first hour, it was over.
The first hour.
But they gave me a list of names that sir, you can pick the name you'd like, sir. I said, the name of what? The name of the attack on Iran, sir. And they gave me like 20 names. And I'm like falling asleep. I didn't like any of them. Then I see Epic Fury. I said, I like
They said Epstein Fury?
that name. I like that name.
Look at all those Muppets clapping in the back.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we voted for. Boy, I hope all y'all are first in line at the recruiting office tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want to see the numbers. I haven't seen the recruiting numbers go up, man. That's just really weird. I thought that I was going to see a headline about a spike in recruitment, since all of a sudden the same people who voted for him because he was not going to start more wars like Biden, like at least that's what he was claiming he was doing.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they love war because Trump told them to.
Yeah,
That's what I thought was going to happen. But apparently we won already. He said it was over in the first hour, Kyle.
Yeah, well, in the first hour, you struck a girls' school and you killed a bunch of fucking civilians. So if that's victory to you, then like I'm sorry, that's disgusting. And it's amazing to me that people are still celebrating this, especially after proclaiming he was an anti-war, anti-establishment candidate. And I mean, I saw through this right from the fucking beginning. And this was kind of one of my biggest fears with the incoming Trump administration, is like, oh, last time they kind of flirted with this war with Iran, killing Qasem Soleimani, but this time they may go all the way. And this is largely going to depend on who Trump has around him. And then as soon as he started picking Mike Waltz, Mike Waltz got moved around, but Marco Rubio, it's like, oh yeah, we're done. Kushner, yeah, exactly, who we were told had no official role in the Trump administration, but for some reason he's running around doing all these negotiations. Oh, and also don't forget General Keith Kellogg, who said that basically the America First Policy Institute says the best way to solve the war in Ukraine is to arm Ukraine more, because we haven't tried that already.
That's worked out so well.
Yeah, Scott Besson also said we could win this war in Iran and crash their economy and get them to the table by adding more sanctions. Let's sanction the second most sanctioned country in the entire world a little more. I'm sure that'll change things too. Like how people bought any of this is just so beyond ridiculous to me, because it's literally like doing the exact same thing that Biden did, but you're claiming because Trump is smarter than Biden that it's going to work. Okay, we know it hasn't. So it's
Bro,
the mental gymnastics are ridiculous.
Like if there was a contest between the two, like an IQ contest, it would basically be an NA at the end of it. Like we would never finish. The contest would never finish. There is no competition between the two because there's nothing to compete with. Like you can't run a relay with no batons, is what I'm telling you, people. Okay? Do you hear what Jesse Waters, how he described Khamenei? This was interesting because he tries to, they always go with the obvious punchlines, like to try and rile up their base. And
Khamenei Jr., the boss's son. He's 56, no resume except his last name. He's like Iran's Hunter Biden. Khamenei Jr.
Yeah. First of all, he's not a junior. He's the second son. He actually has a pretty legit resume, especially for this specific moment. Actually, one of the biggest complaints about he had he stepped in as acting Ayatollah for a bit, and in 2019, and Trump tried to sanction him then. They're like, why? He's too clicked up with the IRGC. What? Yeah, he's too clicked up with them. He's too involved with the military. Well, he's an Ayatollah. Well, at that point he was acting Ayatollah, but like he served in the military. He actually served active duty in the military. He is involved in their operations. Why? Like, how are you going to sanction him for that? 'Cause that's a problem. Because what if he's acting Ayatollah and he wants to retaliate for us killing Soleimani? Because his dad was willing to let us know before he launched rockets at us. This guy might not be.
Right.
So they knew back then he was going to be a problem. Like Khamenei, it was like, okay, he served at a point where it was like a volunteer military. You know, what he did was heroic, and him becoming Ayatollah afterwards and still going to the front lines as a spiritual leader to like, yeah, that's all well and good. That's not what this guy does. This guy with all of the options in front of him was like, I know I could be in here studying the Quran all day, every day, but I want to hang out with the shooters. That's who I want to spend my time with. That's the biggest complaint Iranian clerics had about him, guys. And he is not the leader of the country. Good luck.
Yeah.
He's not. There's nothing Hunter Biden about. Let me explain something to y'all. This guy ain't a crackhead. He ain't got no scandals. He wasn't put in some position in Ukraine in an energy company on an energy board and where he had zero experience. Okay,
it wasn't some nepo baby.
Yeah, it wasn't a nepo. He wasn't no pedo, right? Like, also, this guy was selected amongst a group of clerics, right? Just like Khamenei was, just like the last Ayatollah was. This guy may have been vetted, but like, okay, I mean, it's the same organization. I mean, Jesse Waters is a Republican, right? Okay, Bush. Which one you want? Pick fucking one. Because there were all idiots, so there's that. Okay, cool. How about Trump? Because I want to know why Jared Kushner has so much influence just because he's married to one of Trump's fucking kids.
Oh yeah, and don't forget his daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, is the head of the RNC, who we're told that the Republican establishment hates Trump so much, but his daughter-in-law is the head of the RNC. And we're going to call the new Ayatollah basically a nepo baby, like Hunter Biden, like
Don Jr.
Yeah, exactly.
Like why does Don Jr. and Ivanka have so much political influence that they've never had before? Right. Literally. Like once Trump became president, everybody was talking about Ivanka might be like, she's a future candidate for presidency out of nowhere just because she became such a political power player with no official position, which is worse.
Yeah.
Because now you can't even really be held accountable. Like, that's one of the things about Jared Kushner. Like, Ivanka, Jared Kushner, Don Jr., none of them can actually be held accountable because they don't have official positions.
Right.
So, like, yeah, you want to talk about Nepo babies. These are Nepo babies who are making power moves for the United States, for the United States population, and we have no way to hold them accountable. What are we going to do? Impeach Jared Kushner?
Yeah.
From what position? So you want to talk about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden? How about talk about your fucking president that's in power right now?
Yeah.
Because Khamenei actually is qualified for the position that he's in, actually. And he's qualified for this moment specifically. And you're doing your audience a disservice by trying to minimize him as a Nepo baby, convincing them that he is not a threat to the U.S. in this position. Because you're full of shit. He is. He is more dangerous. And not for nothing, I don't live in the U.S. It ain't my problem. It's everybody else's, though. It's definitely your audience's problem. It's definitely the military's problem. It's everyone who didn't ask to be in this war's problem.
All right.
Because he don't give a shit anymore. Once again, y'all killed his daughter, his infant daughter. And he is only 56 years old. Right. Once again, like Kyle said, in politics, boy, you was a baby. You was he got like 30 good years of just pissing us off. That boy got, bro, Kyle, his first cup, probably yesterday, they probably already knew he was the Supreme Leader for days. Now they just announced it. Recently, I'm pretty sure they wanted to make sure that they got him to a place safe before they announced it. But we know within the last 48 hours, as Trump is screaming, we got rid of their Navy, we got rid of their... Next thing you know, Trump out here tweeting, man, them motherfuckers have put landmines in the street. What the hell? We heard it blow up. Yup. 48 hours, bro.
And then imagine the gall of Trump to come out and say, yeah, we'll ensure tankers going through the strait. Like, that is literally putting troops on a suicide mission. Troops
Literally.
and whatever cargo is going to go through there. And as we've said, there was no reason to go ahead with this war. And there's every reason to expect they were going to do this if you backed them into a corner, which is exactly what they did. And then, like we said, now you get the asshole. Now you get the guy who says, all right, yeah. So China and Russia are on the rise. The U.S. is in decline. You just appointed a new Ayatollah who's 56 years old. Once again, baby in politics, because Putin is 80 years old. Xi is
he 80 now?
No, I think it might be 70. I'm sorry.
Damn,
I know.
Say, boy, damn,
I think,
that boy look good for age.
I think Xi is 72, but I know both of them are in their 70s, if I recall correctly. And then you got Ayatollah Khamenei, the new Ayatollah, who's 56.
56.
And then our president is Donald Trump's like 78. And
is he
there's
not
clearly, I think he's 78, 79. Double check me on that. But basically, as the U.S. is declining, you now just you embolden the Iranian population, and now Russia and China are still on the rise. So this is so bad for the U.S. in every aspect. I don't see how you walk away with this with a win.
So he's 79, about to turn 80 in June.
Okay,
so
he's fucking old.
Yeah, he's old, and he has maybe we got about 3 years less, a little bit less than 3 years. And then it's somebody else's problem that is not going to be prepared for this. Because Trump's not even prepared for it. No, there's no way to prepare for going on a suicide mission, except for, being ready to die. That's because once again, every president in my lifetime knew there is only a couple of ways you can go at Iran, even if we don't like them. You send somebody else to do the job, try to weigh them, measure them. Okay, because that's what we did with Iraq. We gave them weapons. We gave them money. We even gave them the weapons of mass destruction that we were allegedly going there to get. We gave them to them before we took them away to go after Iran. And with all that firepower and money, and with actual knowledge and intelligence on how to navigate the territory, Iraq got their asses whooped. And we were like, okay, so that ain't gonna work. Maybe if we do some money, let's just throw some money at it or take some money away, right? How about we do that? Yeah, that really hasn't worked. And then it kind of somewhat led to protests. What happened? You just united all the Iranian people because you tried to infiltrate the protests immediately, and it became obvious that the Mossad and the U.S. were behind it. Okay, well, maybe let's assassinate their leader. Let's see how that works. Y'all have tried everything except for invade. That's how we know you knew you couldn't win. Because y'all wouldn't spend this much time going over a plethora of strategies, an infinite amount of strategies, actually, if you thought you could win. And it says even more, Kyle, that y'all don't go after North Korea because they got a nuke. Y'all don't go, there's a lot of countries y'all don't go after specifically because they have nuclear weapons. Y'all know they don't have one. And y'all still were we ain't going there. That's a suicide mission. It's a suicide mission. We're not going. And Trump woke up, got that call from Netanyahu. Y'all going today.
Yeah.
Bro, how many politicians have straight up come out and admitted it at this point?
I know Marco Rubio had said it. I think Vance might have said it. Kushner said it. Trump said it. And there's still people out there that will sit there and tell you, oh yeah, this is about China. Bro, China gets 15% of their oil from Iran at most. And then even if the Strait of Hormuz is closed, which it is, it's not for China. So
it's closed now for China, unfortunately, because
oh really? Okay.
The landmines. Not the landmines, the mines.
Yeah.
So you can't just turn them off and on.
Yeah.
Because they got the mines that just float, and they have rocket mines that can shoot up in less than 4 seconds. Yeah. No, it's a problem. It's a problem for real. Hold on, let me see if I can find. Senator Chris Murphy. He straight up says, yeah, Israel made us do it. I'm gonna play the clip. But he straight up says that. He's like, yeah, no, Israel made us do it. So you got senators that, so everybody knows. Everybody knows. It's nuts.
What is the reason, if the nuclear program isn't the reason, as poor Ted Cruz, I never thought I'd put those three words together, is over there talking about nukes? And we know that the intelligence did not suggest that an attack was imminent from Iran. What is left? Why are we at war with Iran?
Great question. Yeah, great question. I mean, the simplest explanation, might be the one that they gave 24 hours in, that they've kind of tried to backtrack since then, which is that Israel made us do it. Bibi decided on his timeline. Netanyahu decided he wanted to.
He didn't even bury it.
And he convinced Trump to join him by scaring Trump into believing that U.S. assets in the region would be at risk, and so Trump was better off.
No, it's true. Once you attacked Iran, U.S. assets were at risk. So, he scared Trump into believing that if Israel attacked, this is going to happen anyway, because that is true. So, once again, the real question is, if we're paying the bills, why can't we shut off the faucet? Why can't we shut down the shop if we're paying the bills?
Exactly.
Just joining Netanyahu. I hope that isn't the full explanation, but you're right. As we are now hearing that the nuclear program is not part of their targeting campaign, as we're now more.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, Kyle. So did you hear? The nuclear facilities aren't actually part of the targeting campaign anymore.
Yeah, the ones that we supposedly blew up back in June.
Yeah, that supposedly were being rebuilt with nuclear weapons inside of them at the same time. Yeah. Did y'all hear that? I need y'all to hear that again.
You're right. As we are now hearing that the nuclear program is not part of their targeting campaign, as we're now more confident that even harder line leadership is taking hold, as the Strait of Hormuz is still being shut down, even as we get their Navy, what's left as the explanation? It might just be that Israel forced our hand. And how weak does that make the United States look? How weak are we if our allies can force us into wars of choice that are bad for U.S. national security?
Yeah, that's a golden question, isn't it?
You think he would have danced around it, but no, he just can't. Yeah, Israel made us do it. Marco Rubio was like, well, we heard that that Israel was going to attack, so we decided to do it instead. And even I didn't catch that at first, but then everybody else started pointing it out. I'm like, he really just said that. I had to listen to that a few times before it finally clicked. It's like, oh no, Israel made you guys do it, and then Trump, yeah, we basically did it for Israel.
Yeah,
like
you
said,
did you just acknowledge everything that we accuse y'all of? Yeah. I told you. To me, I feel like that was Marco Rubio's attempt to save face. That was he's like, yeah, he was trying to say it with his air of confidence, yeah, I support it, but if you listen to it and watch it, really, it's like, yeah, man, so we knew that if Israel were to engage in this attack for their own safety, that our assets would be at risk because Iran has already made that clear. So it was a smart move strategically for us to attack first, since we were going to be attacked anyway. Wink, 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 wink. I'm just trying to tell y'all, this was what we had to do for Israel. Yeah. This is what we had to do for Israel. It wasn't our decision, but it was a smart decision because Israel said it was. That's basically what it sounded like. And this guy, it sounds like he's like, if y'all gonna call me up here for an interview, I'm not about to fucking embarrass myself. It looks like it was Israel who made us get.
My buddy Pete said the guys standing behind the president all the time are usually the one pulling the strings. So who do you always see stand behind Trump when he's giving a press briefing? Usually Howard Lutnick, Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff. When Joe Biden was president, who was standing behind him? Matthew Miller, Anthony Blinken.
Yo, that's so true.
What do they all have in common? I hate to be that guy. What do every single one of them have in common? How am I supposed to not notice that? And then how am I not supposed to notice, Hunter Biden, who's he married to? Who's Ivanka Trump married to? Or whatever his son's or his daughter's name. How am I supposed
Kamala
to just...
was married to the most influential Zionist in the world.
Yeah. Kamala Harris, who's her husband?
That's literally what he was described as. Like,
What are we supposed to make of all this? Am I just, oh well, that's a mighty big coincidence that all these people just so happen to have one group of people all around them. I'm
bro, it's
sorry, man.
nuts. It's what's also crazy too is like, why the hell is Jared Kushner behind Trump?
Yeah.
What is your job? You know, like that one person that just show up to work every day and like you like, or not show up to work, just shows up and he's like, oh, what do you do? Man, you know, I supervise. Supervise. What do you supervise? Man, just generally speaking, I supervise. Like, that's what I do, man. I make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. And what do you do exactly? I supervise y'all. Like, that's basically what Kushner does. Because I don't, even like as a liaison, I don't know what the hell he liaising because we all know. You know what I think his job is? I'm being dead ass serious. You know what I really genuinely believe his job is? To spy on Trump for Israel and report back to them.
Yeah. Well,
I genuinely believe that is what Kushner's job is.
Whose bed did Netanyahu sleep on when he came to the U.S.? Kushner's. Oh, yeah. Yeah. When Jared Kushner wasn't at home, that's where Bibi Netanyahu slept when Trump was president.
That is creepy, actually.
I'm just saying, man.
That is creepy as hell.
There are still people that will tell you that, oh, yeah, Bibi hates, or, Bibi and Trump aren't friends. We're getting out of the Middle East. Like, bro. He's been here 7 times. He stayed in Mar-a-Lago. What? You tell me what I'm supposed to make of all that.
I actually forgot that people were saying that. Like, yeah, he's just he's stringing BB along until he gets what he wants and he's going to pull us out of, man, get the, even if they, okay, so let me just say this. They might not like each other, but the reason that Trump would not like BB is because Trump does not like the feeling of not being in control. And like, BB is in 100% control. And every time he comes to the US, it's almost like he goes out of his way to make Trump feel like a bitch. That's so like, yeah, he might not like BB, but at the same time, he's still gonna do whatever he says. That has zero implication on whether or not he's gonna move in lockstep with BB when it comes to these wars that he's throwing. And once again, it is important to remember, BB is relishing in this reality that the US and Iran could very well take each other down. And I don't believe that Iran will lose the war. That's not what I'm actually saying. I believe that they will win it. But the issue then becomes what happens right after the war. People forget that the Bolshevik Revolution that was like somewhat legitimate, but also somewhat a psyop by the United States was an operation to get rid of the royal family because it was easier to balkanize Russia if there's not a royal family to unite behind. So like they just didn't expect Stalin to come out of nowhere. But the reason that they were able to do so was because the country had just got done with what? Dealing with World War I. The reason that they it didn't work out the way they thought it would after they got rid of the royal family because Stalin came in the picture and Lenin came in, like, cool. But at the same time, they were like, okay, well, World War II. All right, and they're drained and depleted again. Now let's hit them again with the economy. Now let's assassinate Stalin. And they were finally able to do that. But like, it's the same thing. It's basically the same thing. Like they know Iran will, even if they win, it's going to come at a cost. And if they can't, if China and Russia don't replenish their arms quick enough, and if Israel's still standing to some degree, it's over because they still have to worry about the rest of the region. They still have to worry about Israel. They still have to worry about India. There's still real threats they have to confront. And winning against the U.S. doesn't necessarily mean that you're safe. Just like it didn't mean Russia was safe just because they won World War I and World War II. And Israel's counting on it. And once again, shout out to everybody who's just not figuring that shit out. Because I told y'all. This was coming. And everybody, bro, I'm telling you, Kyle, when I said that shit on George Galloway's show, bro, people were looking at me like I was crazy. They were like, what? No. Israel does whatever the U.S. says. They're our puppet. I'm like, y'all not watching the same show I'm watching. No. We're watching this. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. This APAC wasn't enough to let y'all know what time it was. Like the fact that the Democrat, you got to think about, because because my original point back then, this was because of the genocide. This wasn't even, the Iran shit hasn't even started yet. I said, hold on, are the Democrats about to take a whole L because of a genocide?
Yeah.
And you get what I'm saying, Kyle? Like, y'all do know, y'all will lose this election over this genocide.
Right.
And Kamala won't even say the word. Kamala, and then she kind of pretended like she was going to negotiate, but like she kept defending Israel's right to defend itself. She wouldn't call the Democrats who continue to finance it over again. She wouldn't call Biden. She said something about Biden the way he handled genocide.
She also mentioned the mass rape on October 7th, the beheaded babies. Yeah.
She was part of the administration. Everybody was calling her out for it. Like, yeah, you didn't really say anything while you were vice president, so why would we believe you now? But yeah, and we're all like, so you are really going to lose this election. You know what was that damn, the group in Michigan it was like a group of Muslims in Michigan from, I can't remember what city it was. Dearborn? It was like the Dearborn district?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
And they voted for this, like, basically to not vote for anybody. Like, Joe Biden lost his primary in that district. And it was only like Joe Biden and this random thing that they were like, yeah, we're not voting for you. And we're letting you know now, you're going to lose. And every Democrat knows if you lose Michigan, you lose the fucking election. And they were still like, yep, we're still going to advocate for genocide. So at that point in my mind, I was like, yo, there's no way. Israel has that much control over our government? Are we, and we're going to pretend like that's not a problem? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to the point where, like, you will, no, if I tell you to cut your wrist, you go ask me which blade.
Which way, which way, which blade.
That's basically it. And it doesn't matter which party's in charge.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if Trump the negotiator or Biden the absent-minded or Kamala we don't know what she is, neither does she. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter. Black, white, everything in between could be Hillary Clinton for all, like, it doesn't matter. And she didn't even like Bibi. She actually had a problem with the way Israel was brokering power amongst those countries, because she's like Trump. She doesn't like feeling like she's out of control.
Right. And
it didn't matter. It doesn't. If she would have won, guess what? She would have did exactly what the fuck they told her to do.
Well, and you know what? To your point, Israel's costing Trump a lot of political capital, because there's so many people that are like, yeah, we voted for you because we thought you were going to end the wars. And I'm sorry, if you were naive enough to believe Trump when he said he would end the war in Gaza, which nobody really hung on to that, which is kind of funny. They hung on to the war in Ukraine, him ending that. But when he said he would end the war in Gaza, for some reason, nobody hung on to that. Almost like that was a complete and total just bullshit, empty promise. But that being said, this is clearly a huge issue for a lot of people in Trump's coalition. Tucker has a problem with it, although he won't just come out and say, like, Trump, I'm like out of here if you don't stop. Pain in the ass for Charlie Kirk.
He kind of has, admit, like, recently he's kind of like, finally.
Yeah, I would still like to see him basically be like, Trump, if you don't, because you know he has his way in there. I would like to see him do a little bit more. But he's definitely
recently Trump said he's like lost. He said Chuck has lost his mind. He like basically hit the curb. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's Tucker. What the hell? Yeah, Trump said Tucker lost his mind. That you know, but because he's listening to Mark Levin and all these awful people. But like, this is costing Trump a lot of people who are going to benefit him in the future. Like Charlie Kirk, that was somebody who was clearly having issues with the Israel question later on before he was killed, and then you let that go. Candace Owens, another person. Like, all these people are like leaving the coalition because fucking Israel, and he still will not just let it go. So like you said, this completely vindicates your point of the Democrats lost the election. Trump is willing to basically toss the midterms because Israel. Okay, so at a certain point, who controls who?
Yeah, it's almost like actually I think that's a very fair equivalency, right? Like the Democrats, like, yeah, we're throwing this away because of Palestine. Why? Because Israel told us to. Like, yeah, the Republicans are about to lose. No, they're about to get their asses whooped, and Trump is putting himself in a position to get impeached and convicted.
Right?
Why? Because Israel told me to start war with Iran. Okay, but like, you do know, like, you're gonna lose, and everyone connected, because like you said, now we're talking about political capital on the actual political side, but then there is a PR side that is just as important, which is largely responsible for Trump's victory, right? Candace is no longer fucking with you.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's the most, and I know people don't like to hear it, but she's the most popular podcast in the fucking world right now, which is kind of insane to say, but it's true. Okay. Tucker is right up there. Okay. The left, hell, the liberals already hated you. The left, who would have given you credit for anything good that you might have done. Yeah, we're fucking done with you. Like, most of I would say, okay, not most, half at least. And that's like being generous. Probably more than that. Half of MAGA has abandoned you as well. Because as many people that are watching Candace right now, the majority of them were MAGA at one point. And she's the most popular podcaster in the world. And Tucker is also throwing your ass to the side, which probably explains your crazy, historically low approval ratings.
Right. And after he came in with record high approval ratings for once again, for Trump, we're grading on, his whole curve here. The Democrats were like down. They were completely defeated after Trump's victory. And you're giving them air. Like throughout his whole presidency, he's just left wins on the ground for the Democrats to pick up and be like, hey, look, we found this laying here, the Epstein files. Picked that up, ran with it. Completely took Trump to the fucking cleaners over that needlessly. Like it would have cost him nothing to just declassify the stuff. Well, I'm sure it would have cost him a lot actually, but let me rephrase that. Basically, you ran on, your whole team ran on exposing this. And like, if you would have just unleashed everything that it took you, Ro Khanna and Thomas Massey beating down your door, if you did that at first, it wouldn't have hurt as bad. But the fact that you like covered it up and then called it a Democrat hoax, it cost you so much. And then you didn't have to start deporting people for just criticizing Israel. Like, I'm sorry, Americans like their freedom, the idea of freedom of speech. So when they start hearing, oh, the government has enough power to send you to fucking El Salvador, an El Salvadorian prison, if you just say the wrong thing, not about America, but about Israel.
Or if you're a gay hairstylist from Venezuela.
Yeah.
You heard about that? The gay hairstylist that they were claiming was in the gang that got sent to El Salvador. Bro, yeah, that happened. Yeah. Like, what? You're sending people to another country. Mm-hmm. Like, that's nuts. Like, not their home country. You're sending them to chartered flights to a different country. Mm-hmm. That's where we're at. Bro, there's nothing. Bro, I don't even know. This Trump went from like the 2020 or the 2016 version of him I was like, damn, I actually thought he was gonna be the worst president in my lifetime. He really wasn't, because Obama was trash. Okay, like abysmal, 7 countries. Okay, everybody knows it. Bailing out the banks, screwed us all. We never recovered from the depression that Bush caused because Obama made sure of it. Like, and obviously Bush is Bush. And then before that, good God, Bill Clinton. I mean, we can go down a long list of the shit that he did. And then there's George H.W. So like, I was born, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, damn, well, shit. I mean, even in this whole situation with Kim Jong-un and President Moon, like, that's actually kind of a big deal. Shit, he didn't bomb more countries. I guess that's a decent start. He definitely isn't Hillary Clinton. So like, nuclear North Korea is off the table now. So I guess that's good. I guess that's like 3 out of 10. That's better than any other president in my lifetime. And then he went from that to, holy shit, you are undoubtedly not just the worst president, but maybe the dumbest. Right. Because even with Ukraine, there was always like this knowledge of knowing we could not be invested, right? Not legitimately. Like, we could spend money, but like not actually commit our political, international, military clout and attach it to the victory in Ukraine, right? It was just to piss off Russia as much as we could, figure out what kind of weaponry they had, how deep their arsenal is, what they're prepared to do to protect Russia and keep people out of NATO. Like, it was like a measuring stick. We were willing to sacrifice Ukrainians. Like, that's basically what it is. But with Iran, that is not what's happening. We are literally throwing ourselves into the fire buck naked with some baby oil on, basically. Like, that's what we're doing. And everyone knows it. This man, to the point where this man, a senator in the U.S., which is like, I can't believe a senator would say something like that. Even Bernie Sanders won't criticize Israel. He only wants to talk about fucking Netanyahu. This man's like, man, shit, y'all want to say it? I will. We did it because Israel told us to. I'm not about to give up my office because y'all motherfuckers don't want to say what we all know to be true. That was crazy. crazy. But you couldn't say that before. If you said that before, you were anti-Semitic. If you say it now, it's because you have eyes and ears, and as far as we know, they work.
Yeah, right. And it's so crazy because like Trump, people always marketed Trump as like, oh, he's the guy who likes to fire people. You know, he's the boss. This looks so contradictory when you can't bring some of these conflicts to a close, when you campaigned on making America great again. And now, once again, you've left this huge vacuum for Democrats who are just completely awful in every way and deserve to lose in 2024. That didn't mean Trump deserved to win, but the Democrats absolutely deserve to lose. You give them room to basically take up the same rhetoric, the anti-establishment rhetoric of saying, yeah, Israel did this and we don't want to fund Israel anymore, or like Israel's a problem. Just that rhetoric now really resonates with people because after the last 3 years of watching, Israel commit a live stream genocide in 4K with our taxpayer money, and then being told, that the rest of the world's going to have to soak up the Palestinians once we displace them. Like just hearing shit like that.
Nice.
And some of the things they say, like to finally have a Democrat just say like, yeah, Israel's nuts. Like people are like, oh yeah, where's this been? And Trump could do that, but he's choosing not to.
Yep. I mean, the truth is, it's probably he's scared for his life, and he's scared that they have something on him, right? Because think about it. Matt Gaetz, when you think about it, relatively speaking, he hasn't even been a politician for that long. And they were in his room on a trip to Israel that's at the time when he supported Israel. And they were trying to get blackmail on him in his room, and he wouldn't even have known, in his hotel room. And he wouldn't even have known if he just didn't go back in the middle of a conference because he had to go pick something up from his room. He caught someone spying on him, probably trying to plant something to listen in on him. That is nuts. And so if that happened to Matt Gaetz, who's barely been a politician for this, imagine what they have on Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And also, like I said, they definitely kind of reminded him, hey, bro, like with that assassination attempt a couple weeks ago, right before the war started, in case you're changing your mind, don't forget, we can touch you.
Yeah. And don't forget those Epstein files. We'll release a whole bunch of them. Yep.
Because when I tell you they have no one. I mean, shit. Unfortunately, the reality is there hasn't even been any time to relitigate the Epstein files. Because everybody's so worried about their, this existential threat that is this war between the United States and Iran. Like, it's crazy to say that we can't talk about this network of blackmail using trafficked young girls because of that country, right? Because also that same country decided they're going to start a fucking war with the largest superpower in the region. Like, what? Are we, bro? Once again, how many names from Israel appear in the files? How many? You trying to tell me the home of the pedophile? Like literally, Kyle. This is the getaway vacation spot of all pedophiles in the world. And they named this is what you. I think that's the only politician that was named, and that's it. And those two things are completely unconnected. They're disconnected completely. Them starting this war, the files being selectively released as they have been, Trump doing everything he can to hide the files because it looks like he was completely caught off guard by them even being released, which is kind of interesting when you think about it. And I think Massey had genuine intentions, by the way, but I don't think for a second I believe that Ro Khanna actually did too, because Ro Khanna's Hindu, right? And we know that a lot of Hindus are what? Zionists.
Big Zionists. Yeah, and not to mention,
so if he can get political capital by going after Trump,
wasn't Ro Khanna, our boy Nick from formerly of the Revolutionary Blackout Network, I believe, he had Ro Khanna on his show, and didn't he grill him about his support for Israel?
Woo, boy, that man, Nick grilled him. Like,
I have to watch that, but yeah.
Like, Ro was visibly uncomfortable because he was not letting that shit go, bro. And like, he was kind of trying to be like, well, I've already said I don't really support the genocide, but I do believe Israel has the right to. Man, fuck that! Like, niggas been like, fuck that. Do you support the genocide or not? I don't want to hear about none of that. Israel has the right to defend itself, shit. But it's because he knows, like, Ro Khanna does basically, effectively, as a politician, he does vote for the Zionist regime. He votes in favor of genocide. He votes for the Iron Dome. Like, but the fact that Ro went on that show And everything that Roe has done since that moment, now that you bring it up, it's been obvious that Roe is gunning for a high-level, high-ranking position within the Democratic Party. I personally believe he's coming after Hakeem Jeffries' position because I don't think that there's any love lost between them. There is like that weird, I guess it's really discriminatory, right? That Indians do deal with, even though a lot of the Hindus treat Muslims that way, but Indians do deal with that, so they don't get the same respect as like, what are you gonna do? He can't caucus with the Black Caucus. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can't caucus with the women caucus. Like, he can call himself progressive, but within the progressive caucus, there's a shitload of the Black Caucus that are going to give preferential treatment to one another. So how am I gonna do it? Hey, Israel. So you said if we can release the files and you're gonna give us the names of these people, and I can actually throw Trump under the bus and make it look like I'm the good guy, and I can work with Thomas Massey of all people, who everybody loves, to make it look like I'm actually legitimately one of the good. Okay, yeah, let's work it out, man.
And Ro Khanna also made a little bit of a name for himself. I remember this because he was interviewed by the great Scott Horton for opposing the war in Yemen. But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he was actually very outspoken about that. So, I'm going to give him credit for that. But, that didn't cost you anything like the war in Gaza would. You know what I mean? Because that was largely
which year was that for the war in Yemen? Because, it was going on.
I want to say
was it under Trump or under Biden?
Under Trump. And it was 2018 or 2019, I want to say.
Well, there you go. Because he didn't say anything after.
Well, in 2021, it started to slow down under Biden. But I mean, the blockade was still on. But once again, this was a gift to the Saudis, because what did Obama say? Obama said, I have to give the Saudis a genocide in Yemen because it will placate the Saudis because of the JCPOA. That was Obama's exact word. I have to placate the Saudis back in, I think it was 2015 when that all started. So, and once again, Ro Khanna could use that to bash Trump. It doesn't hurt Israel. It's a gift to the Saudis. So, who cares? It's basically just, hey, we're going to try to basically impose an arms embargo on Saudi Arabia. Well, Trump ended up vetoing it, which is funny because people are still calling him an anti-war president, although he's selling weapons to Saudi Arabia. And also it takes a stroke of a pen to stop the potential starving of 400,000 babies from fucking cholera back in 2019. That Trump declined to do that. And of course, Bernie Sanders didn't push back on it either. But
I remember that.
Yeah, Ro Khanna signed up for that. But then, of course, the war in Ukraine breaks out and he supports them. And the war in Gaza breaks out and he supports Israel. So
it's like, bro, I call him Ro Khanna, man, for a reason, dog. That boy know how to play the game. And he does just enough in front of the right people at the right time. Like, as much shit as I give Ro, deservedly so, he's a masterful politician. Like, I gotta give him credit for. Because you know how much shit I would get for attacking Ro back in the day? Because people didn't believe me. They were like, no, man, Ro's legit. I'm like, why do you say that? They're like, well, you got this right. And you have to then I had to go into this damn rabbit hole of the timing, what he didn't have to lose, what he did, what he does do when he does have something to lose. I go back and look up specific bills and like, oh shit, I didn't know he was this bad. I'm like, yeah, I know, because he's actually really good at being a damn politician, which is kind of a lost art nowadays. If we're being real about it, right?
Yeah.
Because looking at AOC and them, they're not really that good at it. So I want to switch gears, talk about this FBI warning. The FBI that's supposedly shut down because of the Democratic shutdown. that's not working according to Donald Trump. FBI warns Iran aspired to attack California with drones in retaliation for the war. The FBI warned police departments in California in recent days that Iran could retaliate for American attacks by launching drones at the West Coast, according to an alert reviewed by ABC News. We recently acquired information that as early as February 2026, Iran allegedly aspired to conduct a surprise attack. Huh? Okay. Hey, Kyle, when did the war with Iran and America start?
It started February
in
28th.
March 28th?
February 28th or March 1st, I think it was his announcement.
And we're saying as early as February 2026, which would mean because to say that you have to have the intel prior to what? Yeah, okay, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds legit. Okay.
It sounds super legit. But allegedly aspired to conduct a surprise attack using so now it's a surprise attack? Is it a surprise attack or is it a retaliatory attack? Because if it was retaliatory, it damn sure shouldn't be a surprise because you attacked them. That's why it's called retaliatory. But all right, but it's going to be unmanned aerial vehicles from an unidentified vessel off the coast of the United States homeland. What? There is so much. Bro, you're trying to tell me that somehow Iran would be able to get all the way to the West Coast, which, in case you're curious, I'm sure some of you are. Let me explain something to y'all. Iran is closer to New York than it is to California. And not even by a little bit, by a whole lot.
By about 1,500 miles or so. Probably.
And they would have to, and I need y'all to understand something. Iran would have to get by Samoa and Hawaii to do that. And I'm gonna tell you, the odds of that happening are like fucking zero. Mm-hmm. Because the reason we got Samoa in the middle of the Pacific, and if you ever, bro, I don't know if you ever done this before. If like you want to freak yourself out, like go look at Samoa on your iPhone maps. Like look at where the fuck it's at on the planet. I don't know how we found that shit. It is tiny. But we put it, we took over their island, put US base there for situations specifically for this, basically to make sure that.
Holy shit. Yeah, you're not
bro.
kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
It is literally like perfectly between the US and China. Like perfectly. Wow.
In the middle of the goddamn ocean, like the middle of the fucking ocean. And then a little bit further, you got Hawaii. Like there is no way that would happen unless the US and Israel wanted to happen.
But like my understanding is also like Iran's missile program. I remember Thomas Massey shared a graph that said their missile program couldn't really reach like even that far out of the Middle East, or maybe not the Middle East, I'm sorry. But like the furthest it could go into Europe would maybe be like a little bit past Ukraine. I don't remember, like they really can't make missiles travel that far. So they would have to take an aircraft.
Well, no, they said they were going to take a boat. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Once again, how are you going to get past Hawaii? Like, oh, look, that's an Iranian tanker. How you guys doing?
Okay. So I think we should give some context here. So for those of you who don't know, Hawaii is the home of the Naval Intelligence Games. Like the naval, like all the navies and their intelligence, like they go there to compete in these intelligence games. The Navy, like that is where like the source of all of our naval intelligence is, basically. Not like this main source, but it's like the hub, which is why when Pearl Harbor was attacked, it was such a big deal. Think about it. Why would Japan attack Pearl Harbor? It wasn't a random attack. It's like because if they were gonna come at us, it would be by boat. And because we're an island, the greatest threat to us and the best way to cripple them is this particular place. And if we had to do a ground invasion, we would have to conduct one from the where? From the west. Mm-hmm. And what is in between Japan and the U.S.? Pearl Harbor. Okay, there you go. So it's a big ass deal. You're not getting, and that was back in the day, you're not getting past Hawaii unless mileage pass. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not getting past Samoa without Hawaii getting alerted.
Right. And you still got there's still ways to go between those two. So when Blake Masters, who is a kind of like MAGA candidate that was trying to run for a senator in Arizona, he said when he was on Dave Smith's Part of the Problem podcast, it was like a real brief moment, and I wish Dave would have pressed him a little bit on this, but he said, what's going to happen when Chinese soldiers storm the beach of California? And I'm like,
what?
You guys seriously believe this shit, that Chinese soldiers are going to be able to make it to California? Like, I don't know if people like don't understand geography, but America's a very defensible country, if not the most defensible country.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why we never get attacked on U.S. soil like that.
So, like, once again, even the idea that China, who's a much more advanced country than Iran, is going to come over here and attack us is ridiculous. The thought that Iran could is even more ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think people understand too. We have multiple, like like a shitload of U.S. bases in California.
Yes.
Like in California, in Washington, and in Arizona. Like you couldn't step on one side of the border, like in any state, without hitting a military base. Like you can't, like I said, you can't even get across. So like, how would that happen unless you let it happen? Because bro, they wouldn't even be able to leave because, or they wouldn't be able to leave the area, their region, without alerting India, because they have to pass India to get to the Pacific. And India would obviously let their Zionist masters know. Well, there's no way that, they would have to pass India, yeah. Like, there's nothing there's no way, bro, that could happen unless somebody wants it to happen. And so last week, what did they talk about? They talk about sleeper cells. No, they even asked that question during the Trump press conference. They talk about sleeper cells being activated. They're talking about vessels launching surprise attacks, like, which would be nuts if that actually surprised our U.S. government, our U.S. military. Bro, we gotta fire everybody. Okay, so there's that. I told y'all there's a false flag coming, and it's going to be a false flag, and it isn't going to be Iran that conducts one. Iran doesn't do sleeper cells.
No.
The fact that people believe that this is even a possibility is based on a xenophobic, bigoted trope of Muslims. And that's it. Well, they kill sleeper cells. That's what happens. That's what they do. They go to other people's countries when they get caught on and they go fuck them up. That's what they do. So they don't need sleeper cells.
This war is incredibly unpopular amongst pretty much everybody but self-identified MAGA Republicans, which how you identify for that, I have no idea. So how would you get people to consent to a war?
Iran conducted a terrorist attack.
Yep.
But Iran actually came out and said, we actually have zero desire to attack innocent people. They were very clear about that. They were like, we don't want to. Like, we don't really want to. Yeah. Like we don't need. They don't need to. Well, unfortunately, in the case of Israel, they literally park IDF fucking vehicles in front of schools. Like, I've learned that today. That's nuts.
They bulldoze. I mean, there's a well-documented history of Israel just bulldozing people's homes, stealing people's homes. The famous saying is, if I don't take it, somebody else will. Okay, and then who did Iran largely hit in the whole Middle East, in all the 11 countries that they struck? Military installations.
Yeah,
they took out military bases. They didn't go after civilians. It was all military bases. So, okay, we've had now almost 2 weeks of this war going on. Okay, who has killed more people? Now, granted, I think what the U.S. is
I think Iran actually has killed more people now, but they've been targeting military bases.
You think more people than the U.S. has killed in Iran?
They've killed. According to Dr. Morandi, they've killed more people. So it doesn't look that way because Israel's lying. Oh, by the way, update. So the new casualty count has come out, Kyle. So now there have been a whopping 13 people who have been killed in Israel. So we've been permitted to up our casualty numbers to 6.
It's 7.
Or is it 7 now?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been permitted to up ours to 7 now. Yeah. So that's totally believable.
We've all seen the missiles hitting Tel Aviv. I'm sorry, I refuse to believe that only 13 people got killed and all that.
13, bro.
It was raining on Tel Aviv.
Yo,
you're not going to convince me that only 13 people got killed. And then when Tehran's fucking city was on fire with oil fucking rain because they hit refineries and shit, like it's crazy.
Yeah, there's definitely gonna be some poison people. Unfortunately,
yeah. There were people who call themselves Christians that are out there saying, "Well, Iran should have negotiated." Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? If that's you, you don't ever get to call yourself a Christian who fears God if you're really celebrating a city gone up like hellfire, poisoning the air for civilians, children.
Those 6-year-old girls should have negotiated. They should have lobbied more for that. What?
Yeah. Well, they voted for this. Or they were used as human shields. Like, first of all, none of this would have happened if we didn't kick off the war in the first place. But no, once again, if you call yourself a Christian, I don't think you can claim that title, because if you believe in a creator, I do believe you will be judged one day for celebrating the absolute needless slaughter of civilians.
Oh yeah, hell, you ain't even gonna have to wait that long, because a lot of y'all act like these damn Facebook and Twitter posts aren't forever. Like, the internet is still forever, guys. Like, after a lot of this shit's over, people they're over. There's motherfuckers judging y'all right now, and they're not saying it out loud. Like, if you want to know if you're being judged, right? Just look at Trump's approval rating. If you want to know if you're being judged, just watch this ass whooping that the Republicans are about to hit. Because think about all the world, the country, but definitely the world, but the country hates Trump. And the people that they're recording are just the ones who are politically active. They're the ones who are active. And it is everybody else who's still judging you. They don't care about politics, but they know all this shit is wrong. People that you're going to like, man, why haven't they talked to me? Damn, why haven't they? Why did it? Man, because they don't fuck with you, because you're an evil, sadistic human being hiding behind your religion. Hiding behind, like, bro, you know what'd be killing me? When I see people cheering on the killing of these innocent people, and then they fucking post a picture with their kids. Bro, that shit irks me to my life. Bro, I will type some shit out, and I'm like, oh, let me back. I forgot that blue check is there. Everybody gonna see it. It's gonna be a whole thing. Like, I forget sometimes, and I have to delete it. But boy, there's nothing that pisses me off more than that. And it's like, it's that American exceptionalism. It's like, we deserve to live, and we deserve to be happy, and we're the good guys. And, they're those evil Muslims, and it's everybody, if the kids die, it's the adults' fault. And I feel like we're one of the only countries that legitimately feels that way. Like, not us, but that's how much of our country thinks. And it is pathological. It's sociopathic. It's not normal.
Right.
It's like we're being infested with Israelism. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah.
And to some degree, that might really be what it is. Because it's hard for some people to reconcile with the possibility that, everybody that you thought you supported, that you thought was looking out for you and had your interests in mind, they're not just bad, they're not just aloof, they're evil. Like, sacrifice, that's what they are. And people don't want to accept it. It's hard because they see themselves in these individuals. They've supported them, they've worshiped them, they want to be rich like them, they want to be successful and popular like them. No, they're evil. And you need to accept that you made a mistake, character judgment, you made a mistake. It's okay. Because we've all had to deal with that to some degree.
Right.
Like, there are evil people running this fucking world. That's why there is so much evil happening in the world. It's 2 + 2, people. Man, let everybody know what you got coming up.
So, I will be doing my show this Sunday, probably talking about a lot of this stuff. I do want to cover a little bit deeper the whole energy thing and how people are always trying to shift this over to how they could be China hawks, and about how this is always all China. Venezuela is about China, Iran's about China. I want to cover that a little bit, so I might cover that this Sunday. But if not, I'll definitely catch up on a lot of the Iran stuff and talk about some of the stuff that we talked about here. But of course, you can find me. I finally got my OG Twitter back, thank God. Kyle Matovcik on Twitter, KyleMatovcik on Twitter. McCollinCrown.com for my band, The Great Megalodon for Substack, and of course, Kyle Matovcik on YouTube, and 5 till midnight on Mondays. And Niko, always good to talk to you, man. This was a fun one.
I have so his YouTube link. Go make sure I go subscribe to him right now. The YouTube in the chat, so I can go follow it directly from there as well. Go subscribe to Kyle. He does great shows, great interviews, great in-depth analysis. Go support him. Go show him some love. Make sure that y'all check out, or if you have not yet, go subscribe to our YouTube channel, or my YouTube channel right here. If you're watching on X, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on IG. Go subscribe to For the People Podcast. Subscribe. A premium YouTube subscriber. You can become a Patreon subscriber as well. Anything, of course. Sharing, commenting, help boosting the algorithm. We're always dealing with censorship because, we keep it real. That's what happens when you keep it real, you deal with censorship. So with that being said, always, gentlemen, more than anything else,